Hello everyone, I'm the Enthusiastic Futurist, and today we're going to finish building the drone ship that we started last episode in my series, Recreating SpaceX Droneship Landings in Minecraft. So, if you in the first episode, we created the two circles and X on the flat drone ship, as you can see, and it was a long process. I had to start over sometimes, or I had to start over once. But you can see that's part one. It's on YouTube. Um, so right now we're going to be shaving the bottom two rows off of the bottom of the drone ship because it makes the circles more in the center, and I didn't want to start over again. This will distort our scale slightly, but I think it's a negligible difference. So now that we have our optimal looking drone ship, we're going to just clean up around it a little. These wood pieces were here randomly for some reason. So, I think that this is going to be a nice episode, and then in the next episode, we're going to build a landed booster on the drone ship, and it's going to be the right scale, and I think the scale will surprise you. So if you look at the actual drone ship, the corners are cut out, so I'm trying to get to the right size of that. I couldn't find any dimensions, so I just had to eyeball it, and it took a little while of finding what looked good. So beware. Now this is playing at 4 times speed, so if you want to recreate it yourself, go ahead. You can slow the speed down if you want. I did try putting in the words "Of course I still love you" on the bottom of the drone ship deck, but on the bottom of the circle. But the blocks in Minecraft were too big to be able to make it legible, so I just decided to omit that. So here I'm counting the blocks just to make sure I got even number of blocks on both sides, so it looks legit. After we finish with the corners, we're going to add some like containers on the sides and a border around the edge, and that will be today's episode. Kind of a more relaxed episode, not much eventful happening. But as you can see, I didn't really like that dimensions, so I'm going to try another one and just fill in the gaps for the old one. I feel like this drone ship project came along really well, and I'm planning on doing some more Minecraft projects. I'm considering doing like a Launch Complex 39A project in Minecraft. I just have to find a way to be able to see more of the render more of the blocks without having too much fog, because that's the main problem I have from building bigger, and it's getting kind of annoying. Oh, and another reason why I didn't do 1-to-1 scale on this project is because the rocket would reach the world height limit, the booster. So anyway, here I've decided on my cornering, so I'm just going to the size of the corner, so I'm just going to delete the blocks that fill it up. Same on this side. Yeah, so the other day, as I'm recording this, the SpaceX they had a CRS-18 mission, and it was complete. It was the launch was successful. The booster landed, but it didn't land on the drone ship. It landed on the landing pad on right next to the launch site, And this is because the payload was not heavy enough, or the payload was light enough such that the booster had enough fuel to return back to go backwards to the launch site. And this is also useful because if there's like rough seas, then you don't have to delay the launch because you need the recovery. And also, I was looking at the schedule of missions of SpaceX launches for the rest of 2019, and they supposedly are going to launch 3 more Starlink missions by the end of the year, which will be in their version 1.0. So I think that I'm not exactly sure, but that might have something to do with the original like the first batch that they launched in May. That was version 0.9. So I don't know if they're going to be operational, but they need 6 launches for minor coverage, so they'll be close. So anyway, here we have the corners cut out successfully. They look pretty good. So now I'm going to add in some like containers on the sides to make it look more like the actual drone tip. As I said in the last episode, one of the containers houses a robot called the Octograbber, which, when the booster lands, rolls out of it's like not cage, but a shipping container, and grips the bottom of the rocket of the booster base where the engines are basically, and this lowers its center of mass so that when the boat's moving back to land, back to port, the rocket doesn't tip over. That actually happened once recently. It was kind of unfortunate. They landed the booster successfully, and then they weren't able to grab it because the technology wasn't there yet, and then the booster just fell over. Yeah, so as I was saying, the drone ship, last episode, they have 2 drone ships. They have, of course, I Still Love You and Just Read the Instructions. And I learned recently that they're also building another drone ship called uh, a Pitfall of Gravitas or something like that. I might be wrong about that, but it looks really. It's also going to be stationed on the west coast in Cape Canaveral, Florida, and if they, I was wondering that if they have like if they build a third drone ship, or if they somehow can move Just Read the Instructions out to California or to the west coast, they could possibly do like Falcon Heavy missions, but the boosters don't return to land. They land on drone ship, and you could probably carry some heavier payloads than you could otherwise. But I don't know if they're gonna do that. Plus, I don't know what the second drone ship is, but it could be if they want to launch, because Elon wants to ultimately launch like the same booster twice in 24 to 48 hours, so that it could help if. Actually, not really. I don't know why they're gonna have a separate another drone ship. That'll have to be something that we wait until it's announced, or kind of speculating on. So here we've just finished one side of boxes, and it looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's not a perfect replica, but I think it does the job well. I think it looks better with the in a clear, or not clear, but like in like a less simple form. I don't know. So, oh, and also the other day, SpaceX had their Star Hopper in Boca Chica, Texas. It hopped for the first time, They had one engine on it, and they lit it, and it went up 20 meters, which is about its own height, so it sort of jumped, and then it went about 20 meters to the side, and then it went uh, back down, and it was beautiful. So anyway, here we have, we're going to be adding a wall on the edge, because the real drone ship has like a wall-ish, and this, actually, if you zoom out, this looks really good. Anyway, so back to Starhopper. So it hopped 20 meters up, 20 meters over, and then back down again, and it was it was really hard to watch, because at least the stream I was watching had, there was like the engine fired, there was a big cloud of smoke, and then the smoke dissipated, and then you could see the Starhopper was sort of just like moved. But it seems that SpaceX got some good drone footage, which is good. And Elon tweeted afterwards, "Test successful. Water towers can fly," which is, I thought was funny. And it was the first flight of a full flow stage combustion cycle engine, uh, beyond the test stand, which is interesting. And that was Raptor serial number 6. So it took 6 of them to get to that point. And then Elon also tweeted that they're going to be doing a 200-meter hop in about a week or two. So sort of mid-August. But that doesn't account for Elon time. So now that we've finished our wall, or almost finished, I'm gonna zoom out and look. So yeah, here's our finished drone ship for the day, and in the next episode we're gonna build a booster that has landed on the drone ship. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.